Okay, hi boys and girls. So today we're starting Module 9, Lesson 4. Lesson 4 is all about word problems and figuring out if we're going to be doing multiplication or division. So today we're going to be detectives and we're going to take out our little magnifying glasses and we're going to look to see, oh, that's not a really pretty magnifying glass, but we're going to look to see if the problems are multiplication or division word problems. Okay, and then we're going to use what we know to either multiply or divide. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the step-in. The first problem in the step-in says, look at these two word problems. So there's two word problems. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to assume right now that one of these word problems is a multiplication one and one is a division one. And we have to figure out which one of these problems is a multiplication problem versus which one of these problems is a division problem. Okay, so we're going to look for our key words. All right, so the first problem says 3 yards of ribbon are cut into half-yard lengths. How many pieces are cut? Okay, so when I look at the word cut essentially means I'm taking something and I'm cutting it into pieces or dividing it into sections. So when I see the word cut is my key word to know that this is probably going to be a division problem. And here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write my keywords. So division keywords are words like cut, shared, right? Multiplication keywords are like times, okay? And we'll keep looking for words and adding it to our list, okay? So here it says 3 yards of ribbon, so I have 3 yards, and it is cut, which means divide, into half-yard lengths. So I can use this to answer my question. There's two ways I can do it, where I do it the way I showed you yesterday. Step 1, the first number stays the same. Step 2, the division turns into multiplication. And step 3, the second number gets flipped upside down, which would be 2 over 1. And then I solve using multiplication. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. So 6 over 1 is 6. So my answer would be 6. Okay? The other way I could do it is the way that the book had showed us in the very beginning, where you check your work using multiplication and you think 6, some number, a question mark number, right? So there's no number here. We don't know the answer yet. Oops. Sorry. I seem to have written, there we go. Okay. So some number, we don't know the number yet. It's a question mark number. Times half, so half of that number would equal 3. Some number, half of it would be 3. What could that number be? I would say, 6, because half of 6 is 3, right? Or you could do it the way we learned yesterday, which is the way I like more, okay? Now, let's look at this second problem. The second problem says, each large bowl needs 1/4 yard of ribbon. How much ribbon is needed to make 3 large bowls? All right, so here we know that each bowl needs 1/4. So I have 3 bowls, 1 bowl, 2 bowls, 3 bowls, and each of these bowls needs 1/4 yards. This is 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. So this would actually be a multiplication problem where I do 3 times 1/4 and I get 3 over 4 as my answer. I know this is a multiplication problem because I'm combining 3 equal lengths. So I'm taking 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4 3 times, which means I'm going to multiply. Okay? So let's work on these step up problems together. We need to work together to figure out, are we multiplying or are we dividing? So let's read this first problem. The first problem says 2 yards of fabric. There's 2 yards of fabric is cut. Ooh, I see my key word. Into strips that are 1/4 yards wide. Okay, I see the word cut. And I already know because Miss RF gave me the key word list. Cut means I'm going to divide. So this is a division problem, right? So I'm going to do 2 divided by 1/4. And the way I'm going to solve that is what I learned yesterday. First number stays the same, so it's 2. My division turns into multiplication. And my second number flips around, which is 4/1. So 2/1 times 4/1 equals 8/1, because 2 times 4 is 8, and 1 times 1 is 1. 8/1 is just 8. Okay? Now let's look at the second problem, and let's work together to see, is this a multiplication problem or a division problem? The length of one side of a square is 1/6 yard. How much timber is needed for the whole frame? Let me draw a picture, because pictures always help me think. Okay? So I have a square, and one side is 1/6, but I need the whole frame. So I need 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, and 1/6. I need to add up 4 1/6, which means if I'm taking 1/6 equally 4 times, I would be doing multiplication. It would be 1/6 times 4, because there's 4 sides, which is 4/1. And that would give me 4/6. And if I'm extra smarticle particles, I know I can simplify, because I can divide the top and bottom by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So it'd be 2/3. Okay? So today the whole point of this is to figure out, do I multiply or do I divide? Okay? If I divide, I know I'm going to see words like cut or shared or divided, right? Or even pieces, maybe, right? While if I multiply, I might see words like times, okay? So let's look at the page that's your homework today. The homework page says write an equation to represent the problem, show the unknown amount, then calculate the answer. So let me go ahead and I'll do one for you as an example. So I'm expecting every single person to get it right. And I'll go ahead and do D, because D is usually, what happened? Why isn't it letting me write? There we go. D is usually the hardest problem, okay? So it says, some tasks that took 1/4 of an hour each were done in 3 hours. What is the greatest number of tasks that can be done? So here I have the word each, so I know it's either multiply or divide. Now I know it was a total of 3 hours, so here's my 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, right? And I know that each of them takes 1/4, so I would cut it into fourths. So if I'm cutting it into pieces, I know that this is probably going to be a division problem. So it would probably be 3 divided by 1/4, which would give me my answer, okay? And I could do that as 3/1 times 4/1, which equals 12/1. That gives me 12 tasks, right? Now, I could have done it the drawing way. I drew my 3 hours, and each task takes 1/4 of an hour. So I'm cutting it into 4 pieces. And then I would count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? So this is a division problem. I'm going to see if I can find any keywords. Portions. Portions is another word that means division. Okay? So we have cut, we have portions, and we have shared. These are all keywords. Oh my goodness. That mean division. Okay, and I think that you can figure out the other two will probably be multiplication problems if these two are division problems. Now, the step ahead says write a word problem that matches the equation. Then it says exchange word problem with another student. You do not have to do this part, but I do want you to create a word problem for this. So I'm going to give you an example. Do not copy my example, but I might say 5 pieces of bread were split into thirds. How many pieces are there now? Question mark. So another keyword for division is split. Okay? All right, I hope that helps. I want you guys to make sure you do the step up and all of the twos. So to A, B, and C. All right, have a great day, and then make sure you guys class dojo me if you need any help with any of these questions.